Okay, so 2-1, you're going to be adding and subtracting polynomials, but not only that, you're actually going to learn how to name them. This part right here, I highly encourage you to have this diagram written in your 1 page of notes, because the very first problem on your test is actually naming the polynomial. So definitely have this and this one on your 1 page of notes. In terms of the degrees, if you just have a number with no variable, it is considered a constant. And then it's just not working. Hold on, give me a second. Okay. So if you have a term without a variable, it has a degree of 0 and it's given the name of constant. If you have a degree of 1, which in this case the x carries an imaginary variable 1, it's called linear. If your leading degree is 2, you don't count this one or this one. You only count the one as the very first. This variable has a exponent of 2. It's called a quadratic. If it has 3, it's called a cubic. Now, the reason why this one is 3 is because you actually have to add the variable y1 and the x2. That's how you get 3. So that's what's called cubic. Yes, Liam.
So, is the reason that you count the exponent of y and not the one of the x in the previous one because the y is attached to?
Yes, that is correct. It is attached to it. For example, if you look at this one, you're looking at this one right here. This has x2, this is y2. If you add them together, you get 4. That's why the degree is 4. And when you name it, anything higher than 3, you just write the term and then the degree at the very end. So if it's a 5, it's gonna be 5th degree, 6, 6th degree, 7, 7th degree, and so on and so forth. Does anyone have any questions so far? And we're gonna do practice, so to naming it, but just know your first question on the test, which is 10 points, 10%, is naming it. Yeah. Remember, every question is worth 10 points on the test. So if this is one question, that's 10%. That's 10 points. All right. The number of terms, you can give it a name based on the number of terms. So if it's only one, meaning it's only 4x, it's called a monomial. If you have 2 terms, so the x and 7, this is 2 terms. It's 2, it's called a binomial. This is 1, 2, 3. There's the 3 terms. It's called a trinomial. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. These are 4 terms. It's called a polynomial. And then honestly, you only need to know up to 4. When you get to math 3, you'll learn the rest. But for now, just learn the 4. And then it keeps going on and on and on. Okay. So let's get to the problem. So on the back page, it says number 1 says find the degree of the polynomial and indicate whether the polynomial is a monomial, binomial, trinomial, or none of these. So we're only going to count the imaginary one that's on the x and the y to the 4. So how many what's the degree in this case? 5. So this is called a 5th degree. So this is the degree. Next is, how many terms is this? Only 1 term. And if you look at the cheat sheet on there, if it's only 1 term, it's called a monomial. So if you were to actually name this, this is called a 5th degree monomial. So that's how you put the name together. You always say the degree first and then the name based on the term. Yes, question.
Back to these names.
Some really old guy. I honestly don't know, but some really old guy. So 5th degree monomial, that's the answer. On the Savas, it's only going to be a 5, and then you're just going to click on monomial as the name. All right, number two, classify the polynomials and monomial, binomial, trinomial, or none of these also give the degree. So how many terms do we have? We have one term, two term, three terms. So this is a trinomial. The degree, you only count the one that's in the front. So the degree is 2, which makes it a, is it second degree? No, it's called a, no, it's quadratic. It literally says right there, quadratic. Because it's 2. If it's anything greater than 4, then what's it called? You put what's it called? The fourth, yeah, fifth degree. Yeah, 6th degree, 7th degree, and so on and so forth. So in this case, you could look at this thing, it's 2. So the degree is 2, so it's a quadratic. So that's your answer. So trinomial for the first one, quadratic as the second one. Now, if on the test, if it was asked you to give you the name, then you just put it all together. This is a trinomial. So sorry, no. You start with the degree first. Quadratic trinomial. So this is the complete name of that polynomial. So that is considered a quadratic trinomial. So you gotta look at the terms and then you gotta look at the degree. Yes, Nora.
Because you're gonna have the first exponent.
Yeah.
here, Number 2, but then in number 1, I'm seeing 3 different exponents here.
Yeah, but this is only one term though.
Yeah, you focus.
Okay, so just the x, y, I'm confused.
Yeah.
You focus on, so you see how in all of them, it's always the exponents of the variable. You always see exponents of the variable in the first term.
But see how there's only one term, right? So it's only one, right? Nora?
Sure.
So this is only one, right? So then you just count the degrees of the variable. So x1, y4, so 1 and 4 make 5, right?
Yes.
And then it's only one, right? So since it's only one term, it's a monomial.
Yeah, I get that part.
Yeah.
It's the exponents.
So remember, if you have multiple terms, so for example, this is one term, two terms, three terms, right? When you're naming the degree, you only look at the very first one. And what's the degree of the very first term? 2, so the degree is 2. And then you look at the little cheat sheet that I gave you when it's a 2 degree, quadratic. Does that make sense? All right, so we'll do more practice. So let's do number 3. It says write the polynomial in standard form. Name the polynomial based on its degree and then the number of terms. So when you write something in standard form, it goes from the degree from highest to lowest. So when you're going to write in standard form, so what's the degree of the first term? 2. What's the degree of the second term?
1.
No. 0. It literally tells you right over here. If it's just a constant, if it's just a number, it literally gives you the number. What's the degree of it? 0. So anytime it's a number with no variable, no letter, it's a degree of 0. Okay, what's the degree of the third term? 1, right? Because of this imaginary 1 right here. Okay, so if you're gonna write this from from greatest to smallest, it's gonna be x squared negative 7x plus 7. This is standard form. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so now we're gonna name it. We're gonna start with the degree. What's the degree of my first term? 2. The degree of my first term. It is 2, right? So if the degree is 2, according to that cheat sheet, what is it called? Quadratic. Okay. Now we're going to count the number of terms. How many terms do we have? 3. So that makes it a trinomial. Trinomial. So Yes, so the answer is a quadratic trinomial. That's the complete answer. Does anyone have any questions? All right. Number 4, write the polynomial in standard form. Name the polynomial based on the degree and the number of terms. All right. Okay, what's the degree of the first term?
4.
What's the degree of the second term? What's the degree of the third one? 2. So now you're just gonna write in standard form from greatest to least. So 8z to the fourth minus 9z squared minus 7z. So that is standard form. Okay. Now we're gonna write the degree. So what's the degree of the leading term? 4. Thank you, Nyla. So it's 4. And if you look at the name, what is it called? Fourth degree. Okay, so now we're gonna do the number of terms. How many terms do we have? 3. So if you look at the other cheat sheet of the that has the names on it, it's a trinomial. Look at that. You're all gonna get a perfect 10 on the very first problem, because that's how easy it is. Do not forget 2 weeks from now though, so because your test is in 2 weeks. All right, so fourth degree trinomial. Does anyone have any questions so far? All right, number 5. You can just use a calculator, make it seem like it's so. Okay. Okay. Shh. Now you can do this regularly, combining like terms, or you can do this in standard form. It's honestly up to you and your preference, but so we can make things go a lot easier, we're just gonna write this in standard form. And we could do that by writing the degrees. Shh. So the first one is a degree of 2, degree of 0, degree of 1, degree of 2, and degree of 0. So we're gonna rewrite this. You don't necessarily have to do it this way, but you know, if you're barely getting the hang of it, you might want to. Okay, so 0.5x squared has a degree of 2 and also 1.2x squared. So I'm gonna write 0.5x squared plus 1.2x squared. Then we have a degree of 1, no other degree of 1, so we're just gonna write that 3.3x. And then a degree of 0 is negative 3.2 and negative 3. So I wrote this in standard form, which will help me just to simplify and combine like terms. So your very last step is just to combine like terms. So you can use a calculator. 0.5x squared and 1.2 make 1.7x squared. That 3.3x does not have anything to combine, so we just bring it on down. And then negative 3.2 and negative 3 make negative 6.2. This is your final answer. You can use a calculator if you guys can't do decimals. So it's perfectly fine. But writing in standard form will make it easier. And then if you color code it, it'll make it even easier. So that way you don't mess up on what you're combining, on what you're adding. Yes.
Does it matter if I put the 1.2x squared first instead of the 0.5?
No, doesn't matter. Because when you add them together, either way, you still get 1.7. That's the important part. So that was a very good question. It doesn't matter which one you write first, as long as you know you're combining these two, because when you add them, you'll get 1.7x squared either way as the answer. So it doesn't matter which one you write first. So number 6. So same thing, we're gonna combine like terms. We're gonna learn what we learned. Just write the degrees. 3, 1, 0, 3, 1, and then 0. And then we can color code it and then just write it from greatest to least in terms of standard form. If you color code it, it just makes it a lot easier. So x cubed, 5x cubed, those both have a degree of 3. negative 3.x and positive 3.x both have a degree of 1. 5 and negative 11 both have a degree of 0. So positive 5, negative 11. And now we can just combine like terms. X cubed plus 5x cubed. What does that x cubed have in front? What's the coefficient of the x cubed? Imaginary 1. So that's why when you add them together, you should get x cubed. Very good. Do not write 5x cubed because that's like if you're adding 9 to it. So no. What do you get when you add something by itself that's opposite of it? You can just cross these out. Negative 3x plus 3x is 0. So those just get canceled. So you can technically write 0, but you don't have to. So 0. All right. The next part, positive 5 and negative 11. What do we get? Negative 6. You get your answer. All right. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. All right, number 7. Okay. You're gonna have a question like this on the test and then the one. Okay. If you're adding two polynomials together, why is this like? If you're adding two polynomials together and you have parentheses, you can just rewrite it without the parentheses. So that's like a cheat code for when you're adding polynomials. So you just do 10y4 minus 10y squared plus 5x squared minus 7 minus 3y minus 3y to the 4th plus 6y squared plus 8. Okay, so now you're gonna write the degrees. This is a 4th degree, 2nd degree, 2nd degree. I think my Apple Pencil's running out of ink. I'll give you a quick second. So 2nd degree, 0, 4, 2, and then 0. Okay. 10y to the 4th minus 3y. So let's see. Okay, I'm having issues with my iPad. Give me a second. Didn't charge. Okay, give me a quick second while I try to figure this out. Yep. My iPad did not charge. This is not good. So then you would just have to go from left to right in terms of the leading degree. So in this case, 10y to the 4th minus 3y to the 4th. Now you have negative 10y squared plus 5x squared and 6y squared. Both have a degree of 2, and usually determining on what variable you want to go first. Usually the rule of thumb is always going by alphabetical order. So x always goes first before y, so 5x squared. And then you can go with the y. Negative 10y squared plus 6y squared minus 7 plus 8, since they both have a degree of 0. And then all you have to do is just combine like terms from this point. 10y to the 4th minus 3y to the 4th gives us 7y to the 4th. 5x squared does not combine anything, so you drop that down. Negative 10y squared plus 6y squared gives you negative 4y squared. And then negative 7 plus 8 gives me positive 1. So that would be my answer for this problem. So for the last example, same thing. The only thing you have to be careful of is the negative. If there's a negative, you have to distribute the negative. So in this case, everything on the left-hand side stays the same. But for the other terms, you have to distribute. So -1 distributed to -7x cubed is positive 7x cubed, positive 10x squared, positive 2x, positive 9. And then just write the degrees. So degree of 3, degree of 2, degree of 1, 0, degree of 3, degree of 2, degree of 1, degree of 0. And then usually I just go from left to right. So 8x cubed plus 7x cubed. Then we go to the degree of 2, -x squared plus 10x squared, -5x plus 2x. And then 11 plus 9 gives us 20. And then for the very last step, all you have to do is just combine like terms. So 8x cubed plus 7x cubed is 15x cubed. -x squared plus 9x squared. Sorry, -x squared plus 10x squared is positive 9x squared. -5x plus 2x is -3x. And then, oh, I accidentally combined the 20 and the 11 on accident. And then that would give us 20 when we combine. So then our final answer is -15x cubed plus 9x squared minus 3x plus 20. And that would be your answer for the last two problems. If that's correct, let me just double check. 8 and 7 is 15. -x plus 10 is +9. -5x and +2x is -3x. And then 11 plus 9 is 20. And then looking back at this one, looks like everything looks pretty good. -10y plus 6y is -4y. And then 10 minus 3. Nope. Okay, looks like it's good to go. But yeah, that's how you solve the last three problems.